Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to be having our webinar on developing a career plan for the accelerated training for Illinois manufacturing. Today on our panel is Ron Payne with the Illinois Department of Employment Security. He is a labor market economist. Ron, would you like to say hello?
Hello, everybody, and looking forward to the event today.
Great. And Jim Nelson is from the Illinois Manufacturers Association, and Jim will be joining us on the call as well today, as he has in a number of our webinars. So hello, Jim. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. It's good to be back. I'm sitting under a shade tree in lovely Bloomington right now.
Woo! That sounds like a nice thing to be doing. And Mike will be joining us shortly. As always, we have Natasha Telger, Chelsea Jones, Lacey Pollock, and Jean Kitchens helping us on the back side of this webinar, making sure that we have all of our facts straight and all of the functioning parts are working properly. I'm Dee Reinhardt. I'm going to be your guide today, and we will be moving forward. Our topics today are identifying available jobs, training requirements, skills gap analysis, work readiness and skill assessment, providing counseling to select a target occupation, and establishing goals. As we move forward through this process, we're getting close to the end of our four-panel item here. We will be working on personal training plans, and if you had not already heard, our webinar for tomorrow has been rescheduled to Monday, September 16th. And if you have not already checked the emails, Chelsea did send one out with an update to Eventbrite. So please make sure that you check on that. Otherwise, we will have Chelsea get back to you with some more information if you need that. Today on our big picture flow, we're at the process here pretty near the end of what we need to be talking about to be able to make sure that everybody is going properly with the plan. And so we're talking about developing a plan for each participant, whether or not they're on track or off track, and then making sure that everybody on the partner team knows what's going on. And today we will be talking through step one of this process. Just to let you know, it is very important to remember that what we're talking about today is only applicable to enrolled participants. And this is talking about the personalized training and employment plan. I didn't realize that applicable was such a hard word to get out of your mouth. So today, during our phase one, we're going to be talking about step one of the career development plan. And inside of this part of the program, we have the initial phasing where they're going to pick which bucket of the four manufacturing buckets that we're focusing on with this ATIM program. And within this area, they will be able to see the core competencies that are included within their area. So what I'd like to do right now is pull out the first poll question and talk about what is required to complete step one of the training plan. Looks like we've got a lot of answers going on. All right, we're going to give it just a couple of more seconds here. And we're going to close the poll now so that we can move forward with the presentation. So what you need to do to make sure that everybody is properly in line with their career development in step one is you need to be able to have between you as the partners and the participant identify and describe jobs available. You need to review the training requirements with them for those demand occupations that are part of the ATIM program. And then we need to make sure that we have a skills gap analysis, and that's why we have Ron on the call today. He's going to explain this for us a little bit more. Then we also want to make sure that we have completed the work readiness and skills assessment. Now, if they've already done that, they don't have to redo it again, but there may be some of the skills assessments that may need to be done. And then you want to provide counseling to the individual to help them target on a specific occupation. So, what are some of the sources where you can identify available jobs? Fast and furious job answer, poll question answering going on. Numbers are raising rapidly. It's almost a race. Which one's going to finish in first place? Looks like Illinois JobLink, maybe. All right. We are going to close down this poll in just a moment. And if you hadn't thought about some of these options, it's something to consider. When we identify available jobs for people, we want to do that based on the career skills, interests, values, and life experience results that people have. And we can do that through several of the assessment tools that we have available on Illinois Worknet and other resources that you might already be using in your areas. We also want to make sure that the participants research the industries that meet those inventory results and then determine whether or not that desired career is in demand. And then you want to be able to research companies that match those industries. And hopefully there are quite a few of them within the area that you hope that your participants are living in. Some of the sources that you can use are regional employers, and you can find those people with the Chamber of Commerce job boards that are available on many chambers of commerces, as well as the various association job boards. And Jim, you mentioned a couple of them. Is it possible to put a link to where some of those associations are in the chat pod for the people? Do you have something like that on your member associations?
I do back in the office, but I don't. I'm in the car today, so I don't have them with me.
Okay, so how about if we add that link to our FAQ area? We can do that so that people can find those different groups that
Sure,
they can.
and I'll get those to you.
All right. Okay.
Before now.
All right. All right, great. And then another tool that we can use is the ATIM job forecasting and openings dashboard, which we will be showing you in just a moment, as well as the Help Wanted online reports that come from IDES, which Ron is going to explain for us, as well as Illinois JobLink, Indeed, and there's a website specifically for manufacturing jobs that I've found in some of the different searches. So there's lots of tools where you can find areas, and we'll have a little bit more explanation here just in a moment. So on the dashboard for ATIM, there are internship postings as well as full-time jobs as well as on-the-job training opportunities that are available in through our program itself, working with the partner employers. So area employers will add workplace learning opportunities and end-of-training jobs to the forecast, and you can help your trainees find this information after they do their company research. Now let's talk a moment, Ron, about these Help Wanted online reports.
Okay, I've been sending these reports out. Actually, I've sent 2 of them out. I sent the July data out Monday morning to all the leaders of each of the areas. Hopefully they've gotten them. And this morning I actually sent out the August data. And basically what you can find on here is the top employers that have job postings, that have job ads, online job ads in your area, and the different occupations, the most common occupations that they're advertising for. Unfortunately, at this point, these are all, as most of you know, are in a county file. They're not in ATIM regions. We're working to try to make that a little bit better, but right now it's basically a 2-page report, and these different tables that you see on the screen here are exactly what you get, and it gives like I say, the top employers and the top occupations that are open in the areas.
Great. And there is one specifically for each region?
Actually, each county within each region.
Oh, very good. So that breaks it down even more.
Yeah, and one other thing that I would mention that there was a little bit of confusion when I sent them out, I think on Monday and today. If one of your counties that's in your region does not have a file, that means that there were no online job ads for that county in manufacturing.
Oh, good point. Good point. Thank you for sharing that.
Mm-hmm.
So now a few other factors that you need to consider for helping people find the job is what are the work values that they have and that the company has, and what are the priorities that the participant has? What are their deal breakers? So like if they have to work 3rd shift, is that a deal breaker? If they have to drive 50 miles to get to a job, is that a deal breaker? What are their deal breakers? And what skills are needed? And then what are the logistical factors of getting them to work and back home and making sure that everything works? So all of these things need to be considered within their job selection process. So training requirements also come into play here. Did I hear somebody start to want to say something? No. Okay. There are going to be several opportunities available where we will have classroom training, bridge courses, which will be discussed on Monday, intern positions that we talked about the ramifications of those yesterday, so please keep that caution in mind, work experience, and then on-the-job training. So those are the areas that we will be having included within the career plan process to make sure that they can get from no work to work. And then each area has their own list of competencies that we'll follow, but what competencies might be needed for specific employers. And I'm going to pull over a screen share of the competency list. This is a draft. We do have a really nice document that is in the process of being prepared, and these competencies will be discussed with the participant as well as the employers. So that is what we will be using to make sure that everybody knows who's going to be learning what and what the participants will be able to bring to the table when they are completed with their training. All right. So next we have conducting a skills gap analysis. Part of this is what Ron is going to be talking to us about today, and what we would like to do is just tell you a little bit about what a TORC is and have you understand the processes of these. So Ron, tell us a little bit more about what TORC is.
Okay, most of you are probably at least somewhat familiar with the TORC tool that we have. What this thing does is it measures the transferability of workers among and between different occupations, determines gaps of workers seeking to transfer from one occupation to another. And it also, and I'll show you a little bit later, it defines essential curricular content for training programs that are needed to close the gaps that may be in place between the current occupation the person has and the occupation they would like to get into. One thing that's really neat about the TORC, I mean, if somebody comes in and says they're an accountant and they want to be a welder, you can put those two occupations in this tool and it will tell you what exactly is needed to get that person to be ready to be a welder. Okay?
Great. Are you ready to move forward on the slide?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, this slide here basically shows the different levels of what we call the grand TORC score, okay? These different, the 95 to 100, the 90, 94, all these different categories. And basically what the TORC grand score is a score that is generated by giving a value to each individual or each client that comes in, gives a score to their individual knowledge, skills, and abilities for their past occupation, the one that they're still in, or the one that they've just got laid off of, or something like that. And there's also a place in here where you can list any past occupation. So it doesn't necessarily have to be just the last occupation they were in. There's a place in here to put as many occupations as you want to give the client full credit for all of the different skills and experiences that he's had so far in his work career.
Great.
I think you can go ahead to the next one there.
Okay.
What we have here, once you people get into the TORC program, the TORC tool, this is just one of the screenshots that I really wanted to kind of show you. When you get into what they call the personal employment planner, you're going to be going and build an analysis for each person, okay? And one of the selections that you can make on here is called this short list. And basically what I've done here is used as an example a printing press operator. It's kind of a declining occupation, and say they got laid off as a printing press operator. And what I've done here is just showed kind of the cutoff here. What you'll see is in this list, this short list, is you'll see some green occupations at the top that are coded green in the grand TORC score column. Any of those are very good matches, and very little training would be needed to get into some of those occupations. But in this list here for a printing press operator, I just wanted to show that there's like about, there's a couple of different CNC operator occupations in there, and there's a machinist occupation, which is, both of those are targeted occupations in the ATIM initiative. And basically when you get down to around the 70 75 mark, 75 for the total grand torque score. It means, and there's a lot of occupations that are shown in the red, which means that there's quite a bit of training that would be needed to get this person up to speed to go into one of these targeted occupations.
Great. So let's move on to the next slide. And let's explain this a little bit.
Okay. This is the piece that I think is probably going to be the most important piece that you're going to be looking at when you go into here. And this is the page. You can see these tabs across the top of the page and the gap analysis. And basically what you can do here is I've chosen the printing press operator again, and then I went in and selected one of the occupations that we're targeting, which is welders. And actually in the ONET code, it's welders, cutters, and welder fitters. And what you can put both occupations, the one that you're currently in and your targeted occupation, and it will show you exactly where the deficiencies are and what is needed to get this person up to speed to go into the new occupation. And as you can see on the screen in this particular situation here, there's two red dots in the knowledge column that are which is what they call a severity, a high severity. And basically that is exactly what we're looking at, because those are the kinds of things that we can offer training for to get this person to where he needs to be qualified to go into a welder for one of the area manufacturers.
Great. All right, I'm going to make the screen smaller again.
Okay.
And then we have a question from Mike,
Okay.
and he asks, can regional staff ask IDES staff to run an analysis when creating a personalized plan?
Yes, they can. We definitely would be willing to do it for you. I was going to get to a little bit of this on the next slide, but basically all of the areas, each of the local workforce areas have been issued a license. And it was 6 to 8 months ago, something like that, maybe even a little bit longer. Everyone has a license, and I guess I have my name at the bottom of this slide. You can either call me or email me, and I can tell you, we can find out who was issued that license. And what we need to do is basically we can kind of share that license, okay, with people within inside your unit or within your area. But we need to find out what the password is that was assigned to it from the person that was originally issued that license. If we need more licenses in any area, contact me and we can provide you with additional licenses. Okay, we might have to take away a few of them from here and there, borrow a couple to work through this system. But answer to Mike's question is, yes, some of the IDS staff can and will run the analysis for you, or they can help you do it for sure.
All right, great. So let's talk about this process here, Ron. What's really going on?
Okay. What you need to do is, like I say, you first, to get on the system, you have to have a license, okay? So if you can't find out anything about that, call me or shoot me an email, and I'll certainly get right on it, and we'll get you a license as fast as we can, which shouldn't take very long. But the participant, the actual client that comes in, does not have to be present to do this. The only thing that you're going to need to know is the person's work history. And like I mentioned earlier, you need the last occupation that the person has worked in, or if there's other relevant occupations that might help to get the person to where the targeted occupation is, you can go ahead and put in all of the work history that the person has. The process really, once you find out how to do this and get a little bit familiar with it, it really only takes about 5 to 10 minutes to run one of these torque analysis. And the reports can be printed out or downloaded and emailed to the participant. It's really a simple process. I really hope that, this thing, you people need to use this tool. We've had it for a couple of years, and it has not had real strong usage, but I think this is a perfect project to have to use this tool.
Right. Okay, so now where can partners, workforce partners for the ATIM program find the TORC? Who possesses the TORC program?
The person that was issued the license about, like I said, 6 to 8 months ago was the administrator of each of the WIAs. Okay? They are the ones, we assign the license to the administrator of each of the WIAs. Or when we asked who they wanted to have the license assigned to, it was either them or they designated somebody that we set up a license for. At the time, for you administrators that are on the line, I believe it was Troy McMillan was setting them up at that time. Right now, Vicki Niederhofer, another labor market economist in our Belleville office, is currently in charge of it. But if you contact me to get a license, I will make certain that that things are taken care of.
Great. And thank you for offering that to everyone, Ron. We appreciate that much.
Not a problem. We'd like to see this used.
Great. All right. So now we're going to talk about work readiness and skills assessment. So understanding that we're already, interest has been determined and suitability has been established, that they're either WIA adult or dislocated worker. They've got the acceptable TABE scores, or else we know what we're going to do with them. They've passed the background check and the drug test. They're okay with random assignment. They have compatible work history with some transferable skills, or else they have or they have acceptable or easily trained skills. We're ready to do the career plan. So some of the resources that we have available is, there's a link at the bottom of this page. They are on Illinois Worknet. So many jobs these days require some computer skills, and if somebody doesn't have them, we have a fantastic tool on Illinois Worknet that helps them do some self-assessment, as well as find some free online resources. As well as there are many assessment tools available through Illinois Worknet just by clicking on this one page. We have access to all sorts of workplace skills that will help them update their workplace skills or make sure that they understand what they all are. And then we also have the ability for somebody to gain an observational assessment, which can be used to provide feedback to students in the classroom on their soft skills. We also have access to the NOCTI, which will help them review the soft skills and a few academic skills and be able to demonstrate their skills, as well as a work site evaluation that you can use to provide feedback to persons from soft skills during the work experience. So this is all very valuable tools for you to take a look at in Illinois Worknet itself. Let me